everyone, and welcome back to another floral arrangement. I'm so excited about this week's arrangement. So really what I'm going for is like a springtime, a lot more color than what I normally put in, a lot more just like, it almost reminds me of Easter a little bit. Let's call it an Easter arrangement. So first off, I just got some green leafy fillers. I got 2 bunches for Trader Joe's. And then I got 1 dozen of just their white roses, just because I wanted a little bit of a base color in there. These tulips are really what called me in to doing this arrangement, because they're just so pretty and vibrant, and I love that they have so many layers to them, and I love this pink color. I wanted to bring in a little bit of lemon, yellow or lemony colors, so I got these ranunculus, which I just loved, and I love when they have their bulbs that aren't open either, because it adds some really fun texture to them. And then I think, depending on how this turns out, might have a fun surprise of something else I'm going to add. So just using my traditional vase that I love to use, we're going to start off with building a grid. So we're just going to do 2 strips going horizontal and 2 strips going vertically. And this is just going to help lock the flowers in place and help them stay where we put them, especially with such a wide vase. It can feel hard or overwhelming to get enough flowers to fill it, and this just really helps hold the flowers where we want and be able to use less flowers to do what we're trying to do. So I'm going to start off as usual with the greens, and really my goal this time is to get basically 1 piece of greenery in each of my 9 squares, and that's a little bit different than how I typically do. I typically do a bit more flowing. This time we're going for a little bit more structure, I guess one could say. And now I'm going to keep these just in case, because I might want to add a little bit more in. You never know. Sometimes I like to take those leftover flowers and just add them as a little bit more of a filler. And then I'm just going to go in with my little bit of a darker green that I have here and just fill in a little bit more with it. Once again, keeping these because I might add them in as more texture later. And I'm just really filling up that base layer of greens so that I have a good greeny face that I'm working with, so that I don't feel like I'm seeing the base anywhere. You can see now it's just really nice and full, lots of greens, but still tons of space to work with. So I'm gonna go in now with my roses. I want to clear off as much of the stems, and then the outer petals on a rose, these are called the guard petals, and they're normally a little bit more beaten up or have a bit of like a green tint to them. They're meant to keep the rose at its, meant to keep the rose safe. So I like to take those off so that we have just the purest, nicest petals in there. And you can always help open up your rose a little bit too if you want. You can either do it from sticking your finger in, or blowing it and it will open right up. It's funny to say, but so true. For more of all different heights, textures kind of look with this one, so I'm not trying to make anything uniformed. We know me, I'm a free-flowing kind of person. But isn't that just amazing how a little bit of air can really open them right on up? And always be careful when working with your roses for thorns. Even if they're dethorned, there's always a thorn. Let's be honest. It's a nice base to wait. We have lots of other flowers happening, so I'm gonna switch over to those other ones now. We have a few more back. I just love whites and greens, so it's hard for me to stop when I'm working with them. So let's talk about tulips. So tulips actually are one of the few flowers that when you cut them, they keep growing in the water. So if you ever notice, if you have an arrangement with tulips in them, the tulip will be at a certain height, and the longer you have the arrangement, the more the tulip grows out of it. So you either have one choice to cut tulips a little bit shorter than you would initially want them and know that they'll grow into the arrangement, or cut them exactly how you do want them and know that they're going to grow out of the arrangement, and you can always trim them up if you want. But I always think that's such a fun fact about tulips, and not many people know that about them. On having a lot of different dimension and texture in this arrangement, so I'm going to do some of my tulips high, I'm going to do some low, I'm going to do some coming out the sides, and that's just to really play with the feel of it, add it feeling wild and free and all that good stuff. Grass. I don't know if it's really going to fit where I'm going, so I'm going to put it to the side. We'll see. And I really just keep turning it and looking for spaces that look bare to me, look like they're need a little bit more color or a little bit empty, and that's where I'm looking to put some flowers in. I have a feeling I might add one or two more tulips, but I want to go in with the ranunculus. They're so hard for me to say now, to add a little bit more texture and color to, and then I'll go from there to see if I need more roses or tulips or whatnot. And this is a little bit of a more, look at how pretty that looks, a little bit more of a delicate stem. So I really like to hold on to the base of the stem and help get it pushed in so that it doesn't crumble or break. And your ranunculus are actually a flower you're going to want to keep an eye on. They'll probably be the first ones to go bad in arrangement, and you really want to pull them out as soon as they start to go so that they don't yuck up the water for the rest of the flowers, so that you get the longest life out of all the flowers in the arrangement. And I'm really just going in now with my big blooms, and I'm adding those first so I feel like they're evenly spread out. And then I'm going to go in with my smaller blooms and my buds and add those in. Look at how freaking fun this looks. Oh my God, yes. Easter arrangements, centerpieces, yes, 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 yes. So now I'm just taking like these little buds, and these guys I'm just kind of adding in as like a fun texture element. I love extra texture to my arrangements. I feel like it just adds so much. So you can see here on this one, it started to go bad. That's when I would just XA that piece, because I don't want that to be getting in my water and contaminating the rest of my flowers. And that's why you always trim your arrangements, and that's why you always check out to see how your stems are doing, because you don't want to add anything that could be damaging to the longevity of the arrangement into your bouquet when you're freshly doing it. Tulips, because there's a few places where I just feel like it looks a little green, and because I have the most of this flower and I'm loving this pink color, I'm just going to tuck it in a couple more places. Look at how beautiful, flowing, fun. And you can always go and, you know, bring a flower up a little bit, push a flower in a little bit, but I am obsessed. Now there's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I hope I like it in this arrangement, otherwise they're gonna cut this out. Just kidding. Is I've always wanted to add fruit. So normally you could get a dowel and stick the dowel into a piece of fruit and put it into the arrangement. I didn't have any dowels, so I took my rose stems that I cut and I stuck that right into my mini clementine that I had. And now I'm just gonna tuck a few of these into the arrangement, because I had these clementines. Whoops, I was talking to you from the ground. I had these clementines and I wasn't eating them, and they were getting ready to go bad, and I was like, why not just tuck them right into an arrangement? How fun would that be? So you can see I'm just taking my rose stems, I'm making sure that they're cut on an angle so they easily slide right into my clementine. And then once again, something you're going to want to keep your eye on for the longevity of it. Make sure you're not getting any fruit flies or anything, but I think it adds such a fun texture. Okay, how fun is this? And you can look and see if you have any spots that you might wanna, I might just move my orange so it sits in the middle of this hole here. and you can play around and see if you have anything you need to fill in or if it's perfect the way it is. I love this. How nice. You could add lemons or oranges or grapefruits to it for an Easter Day centerpiece. But how beautiful, how vibrant, full of color, life. I love it. Comment below if you love it. Show me if you end up making something like this for your Easter arrangement. And it was so easy. And I think, what, 10, at most $20 I spent on this one. I had some leftovers and I jam-packed this full of flowers. I could have got some more greenery and easily have made 2 of these for a centerpiece for Easter. What am I saying? But I hope you enjoyed this arrangement. I can't wait to see what you create, and I hope you have an amazing day.